Have you ever felt like you knew the answers to all of your problems deep down inside of you? This feeling of certainty that you just couldn't shake. Maybe you've experienced it at school when you just knew that this girl had a crush on you. Or maybe at the office when you felt like your idea was gonna work. Or maybe you've even second-guessed yourself only to realize that you've had the right answer all along. Well, in today's video, we're gonna talk about instinct and why trusting your gut may be the key to your dreams.
So what can you do with instinct? Imagine you're the CEO of a company and you have a team of smart people and giving you all this data, all this metrics, all these information about how the performance is going and what the company is looking to do in the future. And they're looking to you as the CEO to make the decision on what to do next. And if you're just gonna go, well, if the data says this, let's just do that, then they might as well replace you with a 5-year-old then. People who are usually associated with the word success usually aren't the most tech savvy. They might not even be the most well-read in the room. But what they do have is that instinct that most people don't. And you can't buy instinct. You can't learn it. There's not a school that teaches you how to use your instincts. But the good news is we all have it. It's just a matter of harnessing that power because you might not even be aware of it in the first place.
So how do you know if your gut is trying to tell you something? For all you know, it could be fear talking. Well, when your gut is trying to tell you something, there's a calmness to it. It's also usually in the present moment without much thought. And it's also a feeling deep inside of you with a sort of certainty about it. Whereas fear is usually negative and feels heavy in a bad way. Fear also usually comes with negative thoughts about the past or the future. One comes with feelings of certainty, whereas the other brings feelings of doubt and conflict. It's as simple as being present in the moment and trusting in yourself and your abilities. When we're nervous or anxious, we tend to doubt ourselves, as we're either thinking about mistakes we made in the past or how things might turn out in the future if it doesn't go our way. But all we really have is the present moment. The past has already happened, and there's nothing we can do about it. And the future, well, that's being created at this very moment. Without being present, you won't be able to allow your body to fully relax and do what it's capable of doing. The flow state that athletes enter during competition is due to the fact that they're super immersed in whatever they're doing. They're not thinking about the missed shot that happened last week, or how their coach might yell at them later. They're only controlling what they can, which is the present moment.
So now you're probably wondering, well, you've said all this stuff, all this good stuff about how being present is gonna help me deal with my problems. What do I gotta do? Before we go into techniques and stuff, I just wanna point out that being present does not make you Superman instantly. You're not able to steamroll through your problems just like that. Instead, it gives you a moment of clarity where your mind isn't cluttered with a billion other things and you can just be. There's nothing magical about it. Actually, quite the opposite. We're reaching into our innate ability to connect with the world and the people around us. And that's something that we're all born with, and that's something that we all have. But as we grow older and as life gets in the way, it kind of gets brushed away. So here's what I did when I first tried to get back into that present moment and to be able to feel into my instincts. I'll use the acronym IRR, or which stands for Identify, Replicate, and Repeat. So first of all, identify. Think back to a time where you were playing sports or doing something that you were really focused on. How did that make you feel? What was it like in that moment? Think back to that for a second. Just clear your mind and just think about that, and don't think about anything else. If it was something that would take your focus, your extreme focus, then you might be feeling that sensation of where time isn't a matter anymore. All you have is the task or the object that you're working with. And nothing else matters, and you're in this bubble. So we've identified the feeling and the sensation that you have when you're focused on something. But how do we get back to that when we want to? So the second step is to replicate it. Now, there are many ways where you can think back or feel back to that particular moment. And for some people, it might be breathing. It takes a bit of exploration to find out what really works for you. But for me, breathing was a really helpful way of getting to know myself and to think back and feel back to that particular moment that I want to focus on. If you're a very skeptical person like I was before, then I would advise you can try to look up these different various techniques and just keep it in the back of your head. Don't think about it too much. And when you have the opportunity to try it out, give it a go. So let me ask you this. The first time you ever picked up a ball, did you instantly become a pro at it? Did you become world class? Probably not, right? So the last step is to repeat. It's the same thing with muscles. You build muscles by repeating the same exercise over and over for it to grow. The same thing applies to our mind. You gotta practice, practice, practice. The more you train it, the faster you're able to get back into that present moment and to feel into that instinct.
I know we've given you a lot of information over the past few minutes, and you may be confused or lost with all the information. So to end this video, we want to give you something to try over the next 7 days. As we said earlier, a big component of becoming instinct driven is to become more present. So all we want you to do is just to start noticing all of your thoughts. When you're thinking of the past or the future, become aware of the fact that you're thinking of the past or the future. This also applies to emotions, such as fear, anger, or even worry. Notice these emotions and just acknowledge them. When you're truly able to become aware of all of your thoughts and feelings, you'll be able to become more present in your life, allowing you to harness more of your instincts.
There's no wax on, wax off when it comes to instincts. We learn through life experiences, but one thing is for sure, we gotta trust our own instincts. There are definitely gonna be times where we look back at things and go, I really messed up on that one. Or, I might have been able to do something different if I just did it the other way. But in the end, we just have to realize that things happen to us whether it's good or bad. And it doesn't really matter. But what does matter is who you choose to become when you make those decisions based on your instincts.